Hey, I want to welcome our viewers to a golf podcast. We have a guest on the show this morning who I had the pleasure of meeting, I don't know, 6, 9 months ago through Rand Eberhard. And so we have gotten to know each other, but I asked Lucas if we could really talk about his journey from when he started playing golf to where he is today, in his golf journey. So Lucas, introduce yourself, who you are, what you're doing now, and kind of what your thoughts are going forward.
So my name is Lucas Mota. I'm from Spain. I'm 23 years old. I recently graduated from my master's degree in communications and media from Kansas State University. Mm-hmm. I played golf my entire life since I was 2 years old. Pretty much I started golfing before I could walk. Mm-hmm. And I made the decision when I was 16 that I wanted to come and play in the US for a team. I started at West Georgia for 3 years.
Let me just take you back just for a second. So at 16, and you're saying, I'm going to leave my country and I'm going to come to a strange place and I'm going to play golf. So what were you thinking when you did that?
Yeah, well, in reality so when I was 16, I made the decision to go to a high performance school back in Spain. Mm-hmm. That where everybody were athletes and in my school. So I would work out and play golf every day. And that was the train that I needed to come to the US when I was 18. That is when I finished high school. And the reason I wanted to come is because it was the only path that I had at that time to become professional. Mm-hmm. Because staying home, it doesn't allow me to combine studies and golf. I would be at the university the whole day, and I would not have time in the afternoons or evenings to play golf because there's no arrangements with a school, like with the school exams or assignments and all that stuff. So coming to the US would allow me to get a degree and also train me to become a professional eventually in the future.
Did you feel like growing up, let's say from age 10 to 16, who was like your mentor? What drove you to play at the level that you're playing? Who did you really look to?
So to be honest, until I was 14, more or less, I was better at other sports than I was at golf. Mm-hmm. Like golf wasn't my main sport. I was only playing golf on the weekends. Mm-hmm. And when I was 14, I kind of started training with a coach that I had back in the time that told me, hey, if you want to become better at this, you got to start practicing in the afternoons or evenings after school. So then I started joining like a night academy that 6 to 8 p.m. after school that would allow me to play golf on the weekdays. And after 2 years, I joined the high performance school.
Wow. I mean, what was it like for people that are studying and growing up international? I mean, in a different country than where you are here. What's it like when you actually immerse yourself in a different culture? What challenges did you have there?
Well, first of all, it's not for everybody. I have the great virtue that I always like to feel uncomfortable and that I always like to explore new things. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was a very easy adaptation. I didn't have any trouble whatsoever. I had no attachments. I didn't have a girlfriend. I wasn't homesick at all. So it was a very easy transition for me. But I would understand for other people that, when you are leaving your country and you have some emotional attachments to it, like being away from your parents, or you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever that is, that can make a way harder transition coming to the US.
Mhm. Did you feel like there was a difference in all of a sudden the food that you were eating here versus what you were used to back home?
Yes, definitely. Food was a big change for me. Um, in fact, what is funny about it is that most people uh, gain weight in the US and then they go back to Europe and they lose weight. In my case, was the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
I lose weight when I'm in the US and I gain weight when I'm in Europe. And the
Mm.
reason is because in the US I control way more what I'm eating. I'm pretty cautious of what's going in my mouth.
Mm-hmm. Do you
And
feel
then when I'm
like
home.
it's a decision you make because you're performing over here, golfing and all that you're concerned about what your body's taking in to perform at a high level?
Well, that was part of the reason, but
Mhm.
food it's always been a pleasure of mine. Like that would be my side hobby, I would say. Like I love trying new restaurants, I love trying new food. So I can be considered a pretty picky eater, so I'm pretty cautious because of both.
Mhm. Okay, now I like that, and certainly Atlanta has a lot of international restaurants and different places to go to, so it's kind of cool there. But why don't you take our viewers through your choice to do media and communication? What was your decision when you got to West Georgia or KSU when you started really focusing on your studies, what you wanted to do in business?
Yeah, so when I was at West Georgia, when I first joined, my goal was to become a professional golfer the whole time. There was no alternative, and therefore I didn't put much effort into studies. I was just passing the classes. I was making decent grades, but I didn't feel that I was pushing myself when it comes to school.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a pretty big drop on my performance, on my golf performance. The reason being, I didn't make good decisions. So I reached a point where I knew that it was going to be impossible to reach back the peak performance in the period that I had left of school.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, I had to find an alternative to stay in the US. That I forgot to mention, but always my goal was to stay in the US, whether it was to play golf or to work.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to find an alternative, and I found the concept of business golf. So I started focusing more on relationships and getting to know people and see how far I could go that route.
That's it's all, I think in life our priorities are always changing. So what would you say when you mentioned a few minutes ago that your performance in golf dropped? What Take our viewers through that. What happened? Did you take your eye off of golf for a little bit, or did you go into a slump? What was the reason for that drop?
So I came on my freshman year to school having the best season I've ever had. I think I didn't stay outside the top 10 back home on my last semester or last year of high school playing golf. And that was awesome. And then I came to the US and I broke the school record for West Georgia as the lowest round. And also, I won my first tournament as a freshman. And instead of using that as a motivation to keep working and try to win the second one, the third one, etc., I used it as well. I'm the best. I have nothing to do now. It's just like I'm just chilling here. I I can just show up to the golf course. I shoot my 71 or 72, whatever the number is. That gives me a top 10, and I'm completely happy about it. Coach is happy. I'm happy, and I don't have to put any effort into it. So after a year of doing that, the scores is starting reaching the 80s, mid 80s and stuff. So I was like, well, clearly I didn't make the right decision there.
That's interesting. I think back to a lot of people's journey, and you win a championship in football, and it's always hard to repeat it because your motivation is different, and there's a target on your back, and there's various things. So tell us, I'm curious, when you said that you hit that lowest round, what was your mindset like when you were just in the zone shooting that low round and winning that first tournament?
To be honest, it just happened. Like I liked the golf course and I was playing good at the time and I was rolling the putts in. So nothing special happened. I knew I was playing very good because the entire season showed it. And it was a very nice golf course in Alabama called Timberline. And I just started playing. Everything was rolling in. Everything was a dart, and yeah, I finished with a bogey, but I shoot 64, so
What?
not too bad.
Holy mackerel! Finish with
Yeah,
a bogey and shoot 64.
yeah,
Dang.
and I missed like a few putts in the middle. Like
Yeah.
it was literally a show. Like that was absolutely the best run I've ever played by far.
Yeah. What, we play out at Pine Tree. So take our Pine Tree members through your best round at Pine Tree. And what did you shoot?
So from the golds in tournament, I shoot 68. And then practicing, I shoot 66. Finishing with a bogey as well.
Yes, I shoot those scores, but it's usually on about the 12th or 13th hole. That is awesome. So what do you feel now? Like, where's your strength in your golf game right now today?
Well, right now my golf game it's pretty weak for the most part. I haven't found the motivation to get back to where I used to be. The
Yeah,
reason mainly being because I have a different approach.
yeah,
I don't play golf competitively anymore. I don't have any tournaments to play. Therefore, it's very hard to actually focus and establish some times to perform and to practice seriously. But my strength it's always going to be the driver. I can
okay.
hit every single fairway. Doesn't matter what hole it is, I will hit driver because I know that it's going to the fairway. And somehow that stayed the same regardless if it was the lowest performance of my life or the highest performance of my life.
Why do you think that's the case? Because I don't know a lot of golfers' strengths, but I ask them usually, and I haven't heard too many people except I played Alan Strange years ago. And so I said, what was the difference between you and Curtis? And he said, Curtis could hit the fairways 99.9% of the time. And he said he was just so consistent off the tee. So what do you think you did, to really get that confidence in that driver?
Well, the driver is the club that you have to less think about. There's no distance, there's barely wind. It's just a matter of target and swing it. You truly don't think about it. So once you develop a solid swing, a solid move, it's just a matter of striking it as hard as you can. It doesn't. You're not looking for carrying it 305 or 300 or 295. Doesn't matter. Like those 10 yards. So it's just the club that you don't have to think. You don't have to think about lower trajectory, higher trajectory, draw, fade. It's just you select the target and you swing it.
Well, maybe that's why they can sell $750 drivers like they sell Starbucks coffee. I mean, it's crazy how many people I run into and they go, "Yeah, I got the new driver," and they spent a
What is
fortune in that because I
what is
think that,
crazy?
yeah,
What it's crazy to think is that everybody is seeking to put the ball in the fairway, and everybody's seeking to hit it as far as they can.
Hmm.
And I don't hit it as far, but I hit every fairway. And having that strength, that it's what every PGA Tour player is looking for. They all say that let's hit it 350 on the fairway and then let's figure out the rest. I don't have figured out the rest.
Yeah.
I just have figured out the driver.
What do you think? I mean, in the latest development in golf is that new golf ball that won't go as far. What do you think from your opinion? How do you like that or dislike that they're dialing back the golf ball?
Um, Neither agree or disagree. To be honest, I don't. It's not something I really care about. I feel that the good players will be still winning, and the not that good players they still be in the middle leaderboard. I don't think that's gonna have any changes. Mainly because everything comes down to distance and to the best players in the world. So it's not gonna make a difference to me whatsoever, and it's not gonna make any difference to the average amateur golfer. So they are not gonna notice if they are hitting the ball 250 or 245 instead. So
It's good. What I like when you said back earlier about relationships that you really started to think about life after competitive golf and how important relationships were to business. What did you read anything? Did you talk to people? Did you just have that philosophy years ago? What was the thought on that?
well, I always thought that golf was a social sport
Hmm.
outside of competition. I always enjoyed the the competitive part, and that's what I was trained for. But I also like the socializing, and I found myself at a spot where my teammates started to travel. My teammates and roommates started to travel, and I was staying home because obviously I wasn't performing good at all. Therefore, I had to find myself people to play with.
Hmm.
So there's not many good players outside of Kennesaw that I know. There's not many college people that I know outside of Kennesaw. So I was like, well, might as well play with members, and at least I get to know people. I don't know how far that route is gonna go. I don't know what's gonna happen, but it can't hurt.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, I think we've had some conversations about the business side of golf, and my partner isn't a golfer, but he loves the business side of golf, and so it is unique in with other sports. You're with a person for 4 5 hours, maybe a little bit afterwards, so there's that time you spend with people building a relationship. What do you see yourself like today with media and communications, and what would what your bring our viewers up to date with some of the things, your priorities right now, what you want to get accomplished?
Well, so right now, I recently finished my project, my final project, my capstone for my master's in communications,
Hmm.
where I created a event for the PGA Tour to increase viewership. So definitely it's something that I enjoy doing, and I don't know if I see myself in that route. Even I enjoyed it. But over the summer, I started doing an internship with this person in mergers and acquisitions. It would be the right word, and investment banking and all that stuff. And somehow I liked it, even it's nothing related to what I used to do in the school. It's something that I saw myself because it scratches a lot of boxes from where I think that it suits my personality. It's it's sociable, it's connections, it's golf. So I enjoyed it, and then I stayed there since then. They offered me a job after school, so
Mhm.
I was like, well, I cannot lose that opportunity, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting you share with our viewers that, because I love the idea of, you know, that you recognize golf as a social sport for one, and what is business is part social, and then it's relationship building there, and the idea that everything is built around relationships. So I want our viewers to be able to understand your journey is a cool one, because you played at a competitive level for a long time, and then you shifted your priorities as you went through life for whatever reason that you shared with us on this. So I want our viewers to be able to be with us on a regular basis, because you're going to be able to share what that relationship business part of golf is all about, because you're actually in the shoes of a lot of people that say, hey, am I going to take up golf because it seems like it's a social sport and I can play golf and do business at the same time. So I want our viewers to tune in each week or each time we do an episode, as you really take them through your journey and help them to really be better prepared for why golf makes so much sense to do it for business and for pleasure. So what would you say, because we're going to have you back, obviously, but I want you to give our viewers, as we wind down, what would you say a couple things you want them to go away with today? If I'm 20 or I'm 18 and I'm playing and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to play competitively, and you know how competition
Yeah.
is business too. So what would you want our viewers to take away for?
So the first one, for in my opinion, you only have one shot to become professional. Therefore, if you are 100% committed that that's what you want to do, you truly gotta do the pieces of the puzzle good. Like you truly gotta train good, you gotta perform good, you gotta eat healthy, you gotta work out, you gotta do all the things great. So go for it. But if you have the minimal thought in your head that this might not work, don't go that route, because the amount of people that you have out there who's practicing more than you, who's doing more than you, it's absurd. And that's one of the things when I came to the US that I've realized that, oh wow, I thought I'm good, and then one week I play good and I'm middle leaderboard, and it's like, wow, like that's a different level of golf. And that's the reason why I wanted to come to the US, because it pushes you to see where you at, where you're standing at, and what you have to do to go to the top of the leaderboard.
I love
And the second thing,
it.
the second thing I would say that most people are willing to play with college golfers. They love playing with good people. So as long as you have good social skills, good communication skills, not awesome. They don't have to be awesome. They just have to be that you are open to share, and sometimes maybe give some tips and advices to the members of the golf course. Uh, Definitely everybody's willing to play with you. Therefore, try to play with people that is not just your teammates. It can hurt.
Wow, that's good. That's real good. And I want to encourage our viewers to click subscribe, because you're going to be able to see a continuous maybe journey with Lucas that's in a unique position, that, you know, he's leaving, coming here, playing competitively. Now he's into a different stage of his career, which is the business part of it. And you'll be able to take our viewers through that part of it too. So I want to thank you for being a guest today, and we want our viewers to tune back in because we get to speak more about your journey into the business side of golf and the building of relationships and how important it is. So, Lucas, thank you so much for being on the show.
you, Pete.
And we look
Thank
forward
you, Pete.
to
It's
more.
always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Awesome.